AI definitely has changed the way marketplaces are going to be or businesses are going to be, but how we see it as a tool which would probably look at that how we can get access to more information and how seamlessly can we analyze the information, but still the choice of decision remains with the human beings. So our curriculum has been making changes to adjust our students to these changing times. Having said so, actually students know more of AI and GPT than we professors do, but
Hi, I'm Varun Tiwari and I was born and brought up in Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. That's where I did most of my schooling before I moved to Kota, and post which I got into VIT Vellore. That's where I did my computer science and engineering from. Before I got into SP, I did my PGDM and BM from here with my focus area as information management, my minors in consulting. Post which I got into Unilever. I got campus placed into Unilever, where I'm currently working as a UFLP, it's Unilever Future Leaders Program.
Hi, my name is Akhilesh Chobe. I'm from Thane. I'm born and brought up in Thane. Prior to joining SPJIMR, I completed my BTech in Information Technology from VJTI in 2019. After that, I have around 3 years of work ex before I joined my MBA. I have worked at PwC in the technology consulting practice. Later, I worked at Barclays in the robotic process automation division, and then I took a leap of faith to start my own venture. It revolved around financial literacy for teenagers and young adults. And just before my MBA, my last work experience was at a financial services company, which was backed by Zerodha. There I had a brief stint in product development, and currently I'm working at JM Financial as a product manager.
Hi, I'm Tushar Goyal. I am an undergraduate in Electronics and Communications Engineering from Indian Institute of Information Technology, Jabalpur. Post that, I worked as a product operations manager for a crypto and blockchain startup. Post that, I worked as an innovation fellow, a policy consultant for the government of Maharashtra. So there were multiple thoughts. First was the thought of whether I should do an MBA or not, which was obviously compensated by the fact that I saw that people in my domain also, which I was pursuing, had MBA degrees and they were in leadership positions because, as I mentioned, it kind of gives you that kind of strategic thinking abilities. So the option that I had in my hands were to do a master's in public policy full-fledged from a university abroad, or to go for an MBA plus MPP kind of a program abroad, which is offered by Harvard and universities in the US. I decided to do my PGDM in business management from SPJIMR because I felt like it was a very sector agnostic course in that sense. While most other specializations at MBA in SPJIMR specifically are towards one certain domain, business management was more holistic in that sense. So I just felt like it aligned with my career aspirations and I decided to pursue this.
I'm Akansha Jiyal. I'm a computer science graduate from GB Pant University. It's in Uttarakhand. So post my BTech, I worked for approximately 35 months, which was across 2 organizations. So I started my career with TCS, where I worked on a product called Connected Regulatory Insights. So basically, we were working on automating the regulatory flow for the pharmaceutical clients in order to increase their compliance. Post that, I moved to ThoughtWorks, which was a completely different organization and a completely different domain. So I worked in the automotive domain, and we were decommissioning their existing system in order to reduce their go-to-market. So post my 35 months of stints, I decided to do my MBA.
In PGDM BM particularly, we do get to select our focus area, our minors, everything. So I had first year, so that was always what I wanted from a course, that I get to learn everything in the first year, and then when it's time to dig deeper, I select whichever focus area I want to get into. Again, we do get to select our subjects as well, in that you get to pick whichever subjects you want to study. It was more of a gut thing for me. This intrigues me, this interests me. This is probably where I'd want my career to sort of drift. So that's how I picked it, and a little support from the faculties as well, just talking to them, understanding.
So I am Dr. Ashita Agarwal. I'm a professor of marketing and design thinking with SPJIMR. I'm also the chairperson for our 2-year full-time PGDM and PGDM BM programs. I have been with SPJIMR for the last 16 years, but I have been in the education space for almost 20 plus years now. teaching and researching across various schools. Actually, the two programs are very similar to each other, right? As I said, the only difference is that in the DM program, the PGDM program, the participant comes with a choice of a certain functional area. So if I know that I want to specialize in marketing, or I want to follow a path of being a brand manager and leading the marketing side of the organization, I may want to apply in a PGDM program and make marketing as my core area. PGDM DM is a more, as I said, a general management paradigm. I want to learn marketing, but I also want to have an integrated understanding of various functional areas because I'm open to job roles. And so then I would choose a PGDM DM program. With respect to the curriculum, both are exactly the same. The only difference being that in the PGDM program, a participant chooses 10 courses in their chosen area of specialization, whereas in PGDM DM program, they choose 7 courses in the same specialization, but they do 3 mandatory courses in the general management or strategy space, wherein they learn the integration skills.
So prior to SPJIMR, I had a foundation in technology and some limited exposure to product management. However, I lacked particular business management skills and leadership skills. At SPJIMR, I got to learn a structured way of thinking towards things through my accomplished set of peers as well as through different case studies which we had as a part of MBA. Another distinctive factor at SPJIMR was the unique pedagogy which we have, where through modules like DOCC and through modules like Abhyudaya, where we have to contribute to social development, we are taught to become socially sensitive leaders. And when it comes to learning formal business skills, I think courses such as digital product management and design thinking and the projects which I did in these courses, they helped me greatly, and even in my current job, they continue to guide me.
We pioneered the experiential learning and have always focused on practice orientation. So for the PGDM program, like the PGDM program, there are 2 kinds of initiatives, that what kind of experiential learning is given to them in the classroom. And I would like to highlight these by 2 kinds of initiatives. One is a case-based learning. So most of our courses are case-based. So we follow a Harvard style, wherein the students are exposed to cases and they step into the shoes of a protagonist or a decision maker, wherein they understand the challenges and the opportunities available to the protagonist in the case, which is as experiential as it can get. They do over 200 cases over 2 years. So we can understand that they actually sit into the shoes of 200 decision makers. The second is simulations. So we use simulations extensively in our courses. These are Harvard simulation or standalone simulation courses. So we do Markstrat, we do DAS, we do BOSS, and some of these simulations is like hands-on. It's like, when you learn to fly an aircraft, you use a simulator. You don't want to face the challenges, yet you want to immerse in it. Our business simulations are also the same. And with respect to the non-classroom, there are certain skills and attitudes which we have always believed to inculcate in our participants. So PGDM BM students undergo a social project in their second year of the curriculum, wherein they go to the NGOs and work on an unstructured management problem, wherein they learn the skill of problem identification when it is not clearly defined, recommending solutions with resource constraint. And also they develop empathy towards the unprivileged sections of the society. They see the real India because they mostly are born in the privileged houses, right? But it's very important as a management professional to know what the realities on the ground are. These students also undergo a course called Abhyudaya, wherein they mentor the slum kids, so exposure to urban poverty. And the idea is, yes, gratitude for what you have, but with respect to skill, it's about learning how to mentor, because as they become leaders of tomorrow, mentoring their juniors, working with their peers also become extremely important skill to have. So that's how we do. The other thing is that we get over 100 industry professionals to speak with our participants over 2 years. As a part of a course, they do guest lectures. Many of them also take the entire courses with the participants, and there are industry immersion presentations wherein industry professionals come and give exposure to the participants about a certain sector, the challenges of that sector. So that's how we build in the practice orientation in our curriculum in pedagogy.
If someone who is a fresher, I think what I have observed at SPJIMR is that typically the kind of roles which they go into might revolve around marketing, sales and marketing primarily. Again, there are exceptions, but as a fresher, one can get into sales and marketing or even consulting roles for that matter. For someone who has a prior experience and rather prior relevant work experience, I think the more roles, like the roles which can be targeted more are around product management, analytics or senior consultant kind of roles. And also in finance, one can look at investment banking or PVC if one has an experience.
The aspect to be able to think how the customer thinks, to be able to go into the shoes of the customer, which is taught to us in design thinking and in courses of marketing. That kind of became very handy because specifically in the product management role, you need to be able to think how your client and the customer is going to be thinking. So I think that was very specific, one specific case that I can figure out where it really helped me think about how do I drive the business.
AI definitely has changed the way marketplaces are going to be or businesses are going to be, but how we see it as a tool which would probably look at that how we can get access to more information and how seamlessly can we analyze the information, but still the choice of decision remains with the human beings, and therefore the skills our students need to develop is to be able to integrate the information which AI gives in and make a judgment of what's right and wrong and what probably would be the best decision to go for. So our curriculum has been making changes to adjust our students to these changing times. Having said so, actually students know more of AI and GPT than we professors do, but with respect to how the marketplaces are changing, so we have specific courses on AI and ML which are offered as common electives in the second year. Also, most of the functional level courses, the basic functional level courses, are including the sessions in their curriculum which talks about the role of AI and ML within a certain space. So for example, an operation and a supply chain course will include few sessions on how AI is slated to change the operations in supply chain. In my course in marketing, we have a couple of sessions to say how AI and ML is changing the market space, sales strategies, marketing strategies, etc. So that the student is able to understand how AI and ML is integrating across all the functional areas, whether it's human resources, whether it's operations or marketing, it's not standalone.
So when I look back now, after working for around 3 years, I got an offer from the business management course in SPJIMR, and I already had friends who were here, and everybody knows how good of a college SPJIMR is. But BM itself was a new course at that time, and nobody knew how things would actually pan out. And that was a risk, definitely a risk that I took. But it was one of the best decisions I took at that time, because I was a part of the same cohort that joins SPJIMR every year. The folks who graduate here as MBAs, we sat in the same class, had the same conversations and everything. So that was a risk, but it definitely paid off. So I feel that is there.
So I think having a good brand name definitely matters. It adds a significant value. So while work experience on one hand can showcase your practical skills and your industry knowledge, a good B-School brand can further complement your abilities and open a wide range of opportunities for you. And particularly in my case, I can see the difference pre-MBA and after MBA, the brand value which SPJIMR commands in the market and the sort of alumni network which SPJIMR has, that can definitely get me through certain doors which might not have been opened if I did not have a good brand name.
I always say that when students come into an MBA program, they feel that their goal should be getting a good job. I believe that if you focus on learning, job would come. So in my opinion and my experience here with a lot of alumni who have been there, the ones who've been most successful are the ones who focused more on learning, being curious about stuff, rather than being copy-paste versions of their classmates and trying to look at a CV point, which is short term. Look at these 2 years as a way of how you can enhance your lifetime employability. If you do that, the short-term goals will automatically get fulfilled because that's what organizations are looking for. At the end of the day, the knowledge and the skills every participant has across any B school would probably be comparable. What you differentiate on is how you approach the world and how you look at stuff around you. And that is when you have a nature of curiosity, when you are able to learn more, when you're able to integrate and reflect on. And I think a student who's able to do that, they definitely find themselves in good space, not just at the end of the 2 year, but for the lifetime.